What's good? 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 Hip here, keep it basketball. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? It's been a minute. You already know we had to hop on the live stream here. Shout out to anybody who's watching whatever platform you're on, man. We got a lot to get into, man. A lot has happened in the off season since I've been away. So we're gonna be covering a lot of that. I got some new screens for y'all. I'm gonna stay on here for probably about an hour or so. And we're gonna go through all the news, man. So we got a lot of stuff to get into, man. We got LeBron trade rumors going on. We got Chris Paul, who announced his retirement this week as well. He announced that he will be in the NBA for only one more year. This upcoming season will be his last season. We also got SGA, who just signed a supermax deal. Man, SGA has been having quite a year, man. He's been having literally a year of years. Supermax contract he just signed, and he's also revealed to be on the 2K26 cover, man. So MVP, new contract, and you got the 2K26 cover. So that's been revealed. So we're going to get into that as well, too. We also got Paolo Banchero's new contract, man. Paolo Banchero also got a new contract the other day as well, too. He signed a 5-year, $270 million contract, man. These NBA contracts are getting absolutely out of control, bro. Like, $270 million. That's wild as fuck. Anyways, man, we got a lot to get into, so we're going to go ahead and start with all that. But shout out to anybody who's watching, man. Shout out to anybody who's coming through. Let's start with the LeBron story, man. Got a lot to do with LeBron, man. Okay. It's LeBron stuff, man. LeBron. So we got NBA insiders reportedly skeptical that LeBron James wants trade from the Lakers. Now, there's been a lot of talks about LeBron potentially asking for a trade. He did opt into his player option this year, so he will stay with the Los Angeles Lakers. But, there was a couple of things that were said, especially from his agent, what's the name again? LeBron's agent. LeBron's agent, Rich Paul. He came out and said some interesting things when he re-signed with the Lakers. Let's see that quote that he said. Essentially he said something along the lines of, like LeBron did opt in, but they're still weighing their options pretty much. Like he still wants the Los Angeles Lakers to be extremely competitive going to the season. But honestly, man, I think the Lakers at this point, if you're the Lakers, your future should not, LeBron should not be in your future plans if you're the Lakers at this point, man. Like LeBron is about to turn damn near, he's already 40 years old. And even though he is in the greatest shape of his life, like, bro, you cannot continue to have LeBron as the staple for your franchise, man. He's 40 years old. You have Luka Doncic now, and you can build around him. So I think that should be the future that the Lakers move towards, and it seems like that's exactly what they're doing. Because there's rumors about potentially different teams that he could go to, but we're gonna get into that right now. So it says NBA insiders reportedly skeptical LeBron James wants trade amid rumors. And here it says, so despite rumors and speculation that LeBron James could request a trade away from the Los Angeles Lakers this offseason, some in the NBA reportedly aren't convinced that he really wants to play elsewhere. So speaking Monday on the Zach Lowe show, beginning at this mark here, Howard Beck of The Ringer said the following about what he's heard from sources around the NBA about where things stand with LeBron. I'm not even sure he really wants to be traded. I ended up talking to a handful of people over the course of the last 24 hours, including a couple more follow-up conversations this morning around the league. And the general sense I'm getting from everybody is that outright cynicism or skepticism that this is actually the passive-aggressive or aggressive trade demand, required desire that you want to call it. He's mostly just venting. This is about putting pressure on the Lakers general manager, Rob Pelinka, once again, as LeBron James perpetually has in LA, to do something that LeBron does not feel this next season, and perhaps one more beyond it, are spent on a team that's on a Luka-based timeline, which if you're a contender 2 or 3 more years from now, as opposed to right now. And I think that makes sense. I mean, LeBron is at a point, like I said, he's 40 years old. He doesn't really have much time left, so he's going to try and put as much pressure as possible on the Lakers organization to try to put together a team. I mean, this offseason, they finally got a center. They signed DeAndre Ayton to a 2-year contract, 2-year, $60 million contract. So Lakers finally got their center. They also re-signed their the center that they already had, their backup center. So the Lakers are making moves. There's potentially talks that they're interested in Bradley Beal as well. So we're going to see how that moves. But yeah, man, if I'm the trade. If I'm the Lakers, I understand LeBron's frustration. The last couple of years haven't necessarily been the best, first round exits. The last time they were, had the last great run that they went on, it was the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, they got eliminated by Denver, and Denver ended up winning the title that year. But I think at this point, man, like, if you're the Lakers, you have to move on from LeBron. You have no other choice, man. You have Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is getting fit as well. He's in the offseason. They're talking about Luka Doncic is working now. He's dropping pounds and shit like that, man. Luka Doncic, Mr. Shisha and fucking pizza. This dude is out here, trying to prove the Dallas Mavericks wrong, man. He felt disrespected by what the Dallas Mavericks did to him. So now this guy's working out, dropping pounds, man. So Luka, like, if you look at Luka, let's take a look at Luka Doncic. When he first came in the NBA, Luka Doncic, look at how skinny Luka Doncic was in his first rookie season compared to how big he got, man. Look at this shit. Look at the picture of this motherfucker right now. Like, look at how skinny and lean Luka Doncic was in his first season in the NBA, bro. This dude literally came to America, especially in the South, in Dallas, Texas, started eating American food and gained mad weight, bro. Like, how do you go from this to, where was Luka Doncic? I'm going to search Luka Doncic fat. Luka Doncic fat. Let's go right here. Look at the difference between this shit, man. So this is Luka Doncic. Oh, it's going to give me this stupid. Yeah, business verification. Yeah. Luka Doncic at his highest weight right here, bro. This is crazy. So that's Luka Doncic when he first comes in the NBA. Look at how lean, skinny he is, just coming from Real Madrid, because he used to play basketball in Spain. In Spain, they eat a lot of tapas and shit, so it's like a lot of lean food, very walkable city, so he was able to walk a lot of this fat that he had off, you know what I mean? Even though he probably drank a lot in Spain as well, too. How do you go from this to this, bro? So Luka Doncic is on a mission to be able to prove the Dallas Mavericks wrong. He feels disrespected, right? So I think it's smart for the Lakers, especially seeing this motivation behind Luka Doncic, to be like, you know what? This is going to be our guy moving forward. So let's get more into the article here. So yeah, as I said before, so he did re-sign. He opted into his $52 million option for the 2025-2026 season. And the funny thing was that when LeBron opted in, Rich Paul, his agent, is the one who gave this background. And this is what he said. And this kind of made people scratch their heads and be like, yo, is LeBron trying to leave? Like, is he trying to ask for a trade? Like, what is he going to do? And this is where all these trade rumors started to come from in the beginning. And I think from LeBron's perspective, this is his strategy to try to push the Lakers, like they said in the article, to try to push the Lakers to actually do something, man. Because Rob Pelinka, outside of this Luka Doncic trade, which essentially got handed to him, like Rob Pelinka, you can have your criticism about Rob Pelinka and what he's actually done for the Lakers franchise. So it says here, so this is what Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, said when he signed here. He said, LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for the 8 years with Jeannie Buss and the general manager, Rob Pelinka, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. Bro, when I read that a couple years ago, I was like, what the fuck, bro? LeBron's been with the Lakers for 8 years, damn near a decade. I think this might be the longest stretch, this might be the second longest stretch that he's been with the team at this point here. And they said, we understand the difficulty in winning it now, while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and his career. He wants to make every season he has left on the court, and the Lakers understand and are supportive of what's best for him. So this is what he said when he signed here. But then to make matters even worse, on top of this, we got news, or there's a report that came out that LeBron James' wife wants him to retire within the next year or so after the Lakers contract option. So, where does that sound familiar? Wife wants you to retire in a couple years. Where does that sound? Retire. Y'all ever heard of a guy named Tom Brady? Yeah, Tom. Yeah, that's where it sounded familiar. Yeah, that's that guy named Tom Brady. Anywho, let's go into this here. So Savannah James is ready to have a 4-time champion at home for good. Ooh, LeBron. So if Savannah James at the final call, LeBron James would announce retirement after a majestic 22-year career as one of the greatest players of all time. So it talks about him picking up his $52 million player option with the Los Angeles to play at least one more season. James announced it over the weekend during dinner with his friends, including former Cavalier star Kevin Love. Brief soundbite of the conversation where James heard saying, Savannah wants me to fucking retire within the next year or so. So honestly, I think LeBron, him coming out, Rich Paul making these statements, I think they're just positioning to try to put pressure on Rob Pelinka to actually do something and get something done. But, you know, I think LeBron, what he's probably going to try and do, he's probably just going to work or play for one more year, and then he's out of there, man. He's going to play for one more year, I think, this season, and then the season after that, he's probably going to do his farewell tour. So I think he plays max 2 more seasons left. So after this season with the Lakers, he'll probably opt out. I can see LeBron, even once he's a free agent, even going back home, man. I can see him going back to Cleveland just to finish up his career where he started it and just, you know, riding it out. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, LeBron is still in perfect shape to be able to still play. I mean, y'all see how he's playing, but this guy is 40 years old, still dunking, doing crazy shit. Like, this guy is not a matter or a question of LeBron's shape, but just a matter of the team that he's going to be on. But I don't know, man. I don't see LeBron James winning another championship before he retires, man. I just really don't. But I understand him putting pressure on the Lakers organization to try to get something done, man. I absolutely understand that. So yeah, and then here's a couple of other trade rumors that were going around. This is from the Los Angeles Lakers on SI, so Sports Illustrated. And there's rumors about him being traded from the Lakers. There's a bunch of other teams. There's the Knicks that were brought up, Golden State Warriors that were brought up. But yeah, I just don't realistically see that. Like, I don't see teams giving up a whole lot to be able to get LeBron James, unless they just want to sell tickets. But the team that's going to do that is not going to be a team that's going to be able to contend for a championship. So I think the best thing for LeBron to do is just to ride out this final year of his contract and then sign as a free agent for cheap somewhere else, maybe back home in Cleveland, you know, finish off the rest of his career and then call it a day, man. I think that's the best thing for LeBron to do. Here's this article here. NBA Insider gives updates on Cavaliers' potential trade for LeBron James. And in this article here, they just talk about what the Lakers would have to, what the Cleveland Cavaliers would have to give up for LeBron. And I don't see it, man. So this guy you can see here in this article here. If the Lakers are trading for LeBron James, they're going to want a really good stuff for it. And Brian Windhorst, who's like been the LeBron insider for like the longest time, pretty much talks about it. And this is what they say right here.
And if the Lakers are trading LeBron James, they're going to want really good stuff for it. With a straight face, I can't say that it's impossible. But you have to understand that they can't feasibly trade for him.
So that's Brian Windhorst. So he's a pretty big Lakers and LeBron insider, pretty much been an insider for all of LeBron's career. And there's a couple of reasons why I don't think this is going to happen. So number one, Cleveland Cavaliers are in a pretty good position to be able to contend for a championship next year. But on top of that, the Cleveland Cavaliers owner, Dan Gilbert, has beef with LeBron. Like, Dan Gilbert does not rock with LeBron. After he left to go to Miami the first time, he had issues with LeBron, which, you know, they worked out because LeBron in 2013 or 2014, or was it 2015 season? And then obviously they eventually won the championship against Golden State Warriors in 2016. But LeBron and Dan Gilbert have not been on the best page before. So, and even when the first time when LeBron left, Dan Gilbert put something along the lines of Cleveland will win a championship without LeBron. We will be the first ones to do that. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's still that much bad blood behind LeBron and Dan Gilbert, the Cleveland Cavaliers owners relationship. And from what I understand too, he's trying to sell a portion of the Cleveland Cavaliers as well too, part of his ownership stake. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see Cleveland with the team they have now, such a good team, who honestly, if it wasn't for them running into the Pacers in this playoffs, they actually probably would have went pretty far. But the Pacers they're just that good. You know what I mean? So I really don't see the Cleveland Cavaliers doing a trade for LeBron. So yeah, that's my take on it, man. I don't know what you guys think. Put it in the chat, man. But yeah, LeBron, I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's happening at all. Oh, shout out to MJ Food Journeys. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate it. Okay, what we got next? Man, so next, man, these NBA players, bro, oh my God, they are getting absolutely paid, bro. Like, Paolo Banchero is about to go into his third year in the NBA. So yeah, here's the next news. Paolo Banchero signs a 5-year max extension with the Magic worth up to $287 million. So this is official, man. It locks in Paolo Banchero as the Magic's franchise player, man. Like, this is crazy. 5-year, $287 million contract. Bro, these new NBA contracts are ballistic, bro. This guy's getting $250 million over 5 years. And the crazy part about this is that this dude, when his contract expires, which will be probably 2025, 2030, 2031, this dude, if he continues to ball out, will be able to sign another max extension. And by the time that new CBA takes into effect, that new max extension will probably be worth like 350, might even be worth $400 million, bro. That is absolutely crazy. So let's go into this. So this happened, I believe, a couple of days ago. Was this yesterday that it happened? I actually don't remember. Anyways, Paolo Banchero signs a 5-year max extension with the Magic worth up to $287 million. The Paolo Banchero, NBA All-Star, have agreed on a maximum contract extension that could be worth as much as $287 million over 5 seasons. Bruh, this is absolutely crazy. So Paolo Banchero has been an absolute phenom this entire year, man. He's been absolutely one of the best players in the NBA, especially in the East this entire season. And I think the fact that the Orlando Magic are trying to bolster up their team and make some moves, they see the fact that the Indiana Pacers, that Tyrese Halliburton is injured. They see that the Boston Celtics are getting broken up, and they see that that the Miami Heat are done pretty much. So, and Philadelphia, the thing with Philadelphia 76ers is that they're kind of unknown, right? We don't really know what's going to happen with the Philadelphia 76ers. They're always kind of a question mark because Joel Embiid's history with injuries. We don't know what's going to happen with Paul George as well. So the Philadelphia 76ers are always kind of a question mark. So the Orlando Magic, I think, are looking at the East right now, seeing how wide open it is, and they're making moves, man. Like, so for them to sign Paolo Banchero, to lock him in for a max contract extension, and then to try to build around him, I think it's a smart move. So the Paolo averaged 25.9 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 4.8 assists last season, leading the Magic to the first round of the playoffs, where obviously they lost to the defending champions, the Boston Celtics. But I think it's good for them. This is, I believe the first time that the Orlando Magic made it back to the playoffs in quite some time. And with your main man, Paolo, like finally getting to the playoffs, getting that playoff experience, I think that's only beneficial for him. As he continues to work in his young career, I think he's definitely going to blossom, and it's going to, I can definitely see them going maybe to the second round next season, especially with how depleted the East is going to be looking next season. So Paolo Banchero averaged 29, 8, and 4 in that series in the Boston Celtics, which is pretty solid, man. It's almost 30 points per game. This guy almost averaged a double-double pretty much in that series against the Boston Celtics. So, when you got your star player who's only in his third year averaging a double-double against the Boston Celtics, essentially you're looking at that and you're saying, okay, we just need to get our guy some help. We got our guy. We just need to get him some help. And then he also had an oblique injury as well, too, so he missed less than 65 games. But yeah, if I'm Orlando Magic, that's solid. They also, Orlando Magic, earlier last year, they signed Franz Wagner to a 5-year max contract extension as well, too. So they're locking in all their main dudes. They locked in Franz Wagner for a 5-year, $224 million contract that could go all the way up to $269 million if he makes all NBA. And then you got Paolo Banchero, locking in this 5-year, $287 million contract as well, too. So you got all these guys on the Orlando Magic. They're locking these guys in. They made the trade as well, too, earlier this year, where the Grizzlies or the Orlando Magic traded for Desmond Bane for Caldwell Pope. So they're trying to get more defense on their team. They're trying to be more well-rounded, and they're really trying to make it to that next step. Now, with all the moves they made in the depleted East, do I see these guys going to the Eastern Conference Finals? I don't think so. I think they'll definitely have a solid series, a solid season. And I think they'll definitely be able to finish top 5 and potentially get to the second round of the playoffs. But I think that's an improvement, man. If you can go from the first round of the playoffs, early exit against the defending champions, and still put up the double-double if you're Paolo Banchero, and then potentially make a couple moves to be able to make your team just a little bit better bit by bit, I don't see any issues with that. I think that the Orlando Magic, like for what they're doing now, I think they're doing an extremely good job. And honestly, Orlando Magic, bro, you got to give them credit, man. They're actually a pretty well ran franchise for the most part. I don't really have any issues with Orlando Magic. And they always seem to be able to draft really well as well. Orlando Magic, every generation, they always have a star. You know what I mean? Whether it was Shaquille O'Neal when he first got drafted to Orlando Magic, and they had Dwight Howard after that. and now it looks like they got their new star in Paolo Banchero, man. So Orlando Magic, bro, even though they're like a little bit more of an underrated, franchise, I don't think they've won a championship yet, if I'm not mistaken. But these guys are definitely a well-run franchise, and they know how to draft players. Because, you got your main two guys here, Franz Wagner, and as well as Paolo Banchero as well, too. You see them making moves as well. But this also kind of ties in to some of the other stuff as well, too. Like, if we look at some of these new up-and-coming players, bro, these guys are getting absolutely paid, bro. Like, look at this shit right here. Look at this shit right here. So, obviously, this is Franz Wagner contract. The 5-year, $224 million contract. You got Paolo Banchero, the 5-year, $287 million contract. Cade Cunningham signed as well too. I believe it was after this season he signed as well. So Cade Cunningham's contract, 5-year, $269 million contract. And then obviously we got Anthony Edwards, the first YN who signed, 5-year, $244 million contract. So these NBA contracts, bro, are getting absolutely out of control. These NBA players, if you can prove yourself, bro, this is why if I'm an NBA player right now, bro, if I'm in any sport, I want to be in the NBA, bro. If you're good enough to be able to make it, bro, just bust your ass, because you become a star in the NBA now, bro. By the time your career is done, you're guaranteed to make at least $500 million. At least. Because this guy here, Anthony Edwards, this is his first max contract. But these players, if they take care of themselves and they continue to be healthy, they're going to have 2 or 3 max contracts throughout their career. And the NBA CBA is only going to go up. Because the NBA CBA, I believe, is going to be renegotiated in 2031. And let me tell y'all something. This is a secret that most people don't know. So Nielsen SoundScan, which is essentially how they look at the ratings, the viewership for all of the different sports, all the different TV, whatever like that. So Nielsen is actually changing how they credit or how they count all views on all those different things. So now they're even having tablets being in there. They're having computers, whatever like that. All the different devices that people watch sports or whatever on. Every single view now is being counted differently. And what that means for every single sport and every single program is that the viewership numbers are going to be going up. So everybody who's talking about how bad the ratings are for the NBA or whatever like that, well, all of that is going to change once Nielsen changes how they view, how they record the viewership. All of the ratings for the NFL, NBA, all sports are going up. And when those rating numbers go up and the NBA has to come back to the table to be able to renegotiate all of the media deals with CBS or Amazon, whatever like that, that means the price for those media deals goes up. So what that means essentially is that in 2030, by the time that new media deal is negotiated for the NBA, these player contracts are going to be even higher than they are now, especially if viewership is higher based on the way they record all the new viewership. So everybody complaining about NBA ratings, this NBA ratings or that, I guarantee you heard it here first, as soon as they change how they record those viewership ratings, the NBA ratings are going to skyrocket. Not only that, the NBA player contracts are going to skyrocket because they're going to be able to more accurately record how they're getting the viewership and where they're getting it from. So you heard it here first, man. But I'm telling you right now, bro, these NBA contracts are going to look like baby food compared to 2030 when the NBA renegotiates. But same with NFL contracts, every other sport as well too. As long as the sport is extremely popular, you are going to see these contracts get out of control. And I do think that we will see a day where there's an NBA player who makes over $100 million before taxes a year. And right now we're getting close to that. We're going to get into that as well too, because SGA also re-signed on his contract as well. But yeah, man, this right here is absolutely crazy how these young players, 2 or 3 years in the league, maybe even 4 years in the league, are signing max contracts that are just absolutely earth-shattering and record-breaking, bro. Like, we're going to get to the point now where some of these players are making more contracts than entire sports. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we look at something like the CFL in Canada, like these players' contracts with one player in the NBA, one max player, they're making more money just themselves alone than the entirety of the CFL or a league or a smaller league around the world. But yeah, so let's get into the next thing. Let's get into Chris Paul, man. So Chris Paul has announced his retirement. So yes. Chris Paul has announced that next NBA season will be his final NBA season. Chris Paul will be officially retiring after, I believe, 22 years. So here it is. So former San Antonio Spurs guard Chris Paul made a big announcement on his career trajectory in a recent interview. Since he joined the NBA in 2005, Paul's grandmother, who he only refers to as Granny, hasn't missed watching a single one of his games. She'll text him once the NBA final buzzer sounds and often give him a call. And Chris Paul, if y'all don't know, is super close with his grandparents, man. So Chris Paul, I believe his grandfather, and this is like a legendary story, CP3 grandfather, he was in high school. Chris Paul grandfather. So his father passed away when he was 61 years old. So in high school, this is a legendary story. Chris Paul, in his high school game, scored 61 points to commemorate his grandfather's legacy and his memory. And then as soon as he scored 61, he subbed himself out the game and he just started crying, bro. Just was super, super emotional. But he scored that 61 points for his grandpa to be able to commemorate him in that high school game. And this is just, this story made me love Chris Paul, bro. Like the fact that you do that in the game, and he could obviously scored more. He could have probably went for 70 or 80, but as soon as he got that 61, he left the game and just started bawling his eyes out on the bench to commemorate his grandfather. So yeah, all of that to say, Chris Paul is extremely close with his grandparents. The fact that he calls his grandma after every single game is pretty dope as well too. But this is the interview right here. This is a breaking. I think he was talking to Chamel Hill, I believe is her name, Chamel Hill. We're going to listen to audio right here.
Know you are playing at a high level, that you're in the twilight of your NBA career.
Yeah.
So how much longer do you intend to play?
At the most, a year. I just finished my 20th season, which is a blessing in itself.
Know you are playing at a high level, that you're in the twilight of your NBA career.
Yeah.
So how much longer do you intend to play?
At the most, a year. I just finished my 20th season, which is a blessing in itself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, Chris Paul, talking to Jamel Hill, announces that this upcoming NBA season will be his final NBA season. So that's going to put a career, I think it's 22 years that he's been there. But this is his quote, man. He says, "I love to play basketball, but I love my kids and my family more," Paul said. And that's going to weigh a huge part in my decision on what happens next year. A year from now, it's all but official. Straight up. So he said his 2025-2026 campaign will be his last, almost a year. And Chris Paul right now is a free agent. I believe he signed a 1-year contract with the San Antonio Spurs. But right now, he doesn't really have a team. From what I understand and from what the rumors are saying, is that he still wants to be a starter, which is probably one of the reasons why he's having a hard time finding a new team. Chris Paul, I think, at this point in his career, is best as a mentor. And obviously, you're old, you're a little bit stuck in your ways. Obviously, you want to do what you want to do. And Chris Paul obviously still can play in terms of mindset and in terms of understanding of the game and the intelligence, the basketball IQ. Chris Paul is obviously one of the best ever. This guy is literally a coach on the court. So I can see why he still wants to be able to play. But I think at this point in his career, Chris Paul is better suited to be able to mentor and kind of coach these young guys, kind of like what he did with SGA. Like, part of the reason why SGA made that jump and is so good and got so good as he did right now is because of this time when Chris Paul was in OKC. Chris Paul in OKC helped SGA develop a lot. And that's why you would see Chris Paul in the NBA Finals at the sideline in OKC. Chris Paul is very close with SGA. He's very close with SGA's wife and knows his family and all that stuff like that. They got extremely close. And you can tell Chris Paul really helped develop SGA, and it shows this season, bro, because he took that next step this season. But yeah, here's this tweet right here. Chris Paul just announced the 2025-2026 season will be his last. So let's look back at it and see what he's accomplished in his career. So he's second all-time in assists. That's crazy, bro. Second all-time in steals. Top 15 all-time in games. And I guess that's games played. I'm pretty sure it's probably postseason as well as regular season combined. 12-time NBA All-Star. 11-time All-NBA. 6-time steals leader. So yeah, man, this guy, Chris Paul, it is a little bit sad that he wasn't able to get a championship, but Chris Paul is going to be wrapping up an all-time season, right? All-time career. I mean, obviously, without a doubt, Chris Paul is Hall of Fame, and this is going to be the wraps. I still don't think that he's going to be able to win a championship before he ends his career, and that's a whole other conversation, man. There's so many players that I wish or would have at least got the opportunity to win a championship that I don't think are going to win. I think on that list, James Harden is going to be on that list. I think Russell Westbrook is going to be on that list. I also think James Harden, Russell Westbrook. I think there's a couple players on that list. Oh, Paul George. I don't think he's going to win a championship. I don't think Joel Embiid will as well. Unless maybe Joel Embiid, if he gets like traded to like a team where he's kind of like a backup because of his injuries or whatever like that, or he's like more of a supporting role. Kind of like when Dwight Howard eventually won his championship when he was in the Los Angeles Lakers. But I don't think that Chris Paul is going to end his career with another title, man. And that, I think that sucks a little bit because Chris Paul at this point is essentially basketball royalty. His IQ and what he brings to the game is amazing. But what I think that Chris Paul will eventually become a coach. I think Chris Paul will eventually become an NBA coach over time. And I think that he'll eventually be able to win his first championship as a coach. Because I don't see Chris Paul stepping away from basketball at all, bro. This guy, you can tell he loves to mentor these young dudes, and being able to see the step that SGA took this season after he was mentored by Chris Paul, and to see the step, and I'm actually excited to see the next step that Wemby takes as well too. He definitely learned a lot from Chris Paul. So I think in that case, like his mentorship for a lot of these players, I think that Chris Paul would be better suited just to become a coach and try to win a championship that way. So yeah, hopefully he does that, man. But shout out to Chris Paul, man. That's a long career, crazy accomplishments. Again, second all-time in assists, second all-time in steals, top 15 all-time in games, 12 all-time NBA All-Star, 11 all-time All-NBA, and 6-time steal leaders, man. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Let me go ahead and check some of this stuff here to see what's going on. Okay. Sorry, I gotta fix the stream here. What the hell is going on there? Oh. My bad, y'all. Technical difficulties. Yeah. Okay. And then we got our final story, man. Our final coverage. Shout out to Paul Pierce. Speaking of SGA, man, we got to get into SGA and his new contract, man. Oh, my God. SGA has quite literally had probably one of the best years in basketball that I can remember in some time, man. Like SGA has literally done everything there is to do in basketball this season. Get every personal accomplishment there is to get in basketball. Again, he obviously won the championship. He was NBA Finals MVP. OKC had the best record in the NBA. They had an all-time defensive season. Statistically, they're one of the best defenses in NBA history. He won Western Conference Finals MVP, NBA MVP, and he also won the scoring title as well, too. So to wrap all that off with the NBA championship, to give us, a solid Game 7 as well, too, is nothing short of amazing with SGA. But we're going to get into his contract. So he just signed a max extension. And the interesting part about the max extension that SGA signed is that he actually could have signed a bigger extension than the one he signed here. You could have actually waited a year and signed a 5-year max extension next year. But instead, he opted to sign a 4-year extension. So we're going to break this down right here. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's massive new contract will almost earn $1 million per game in 2030. So they're breaking down the 2031. But let's go ahead to this one here. Yeah, so SGA signed a 4-year, $285 million extension with the Thunder following this season, which put him in the NBA history books. SGA is set to earn $78.8 million in the final season of his extension. Oh my God. Oh my God, bro. This guy's about to earn $78.8 million in the final year of his contract, bro. What the? Earning 78. I don't even care if you consider taxes. And bro, he doesn't even have an agent fee. This guy fired his agent right before he signed this contract. So he doesn't even have an agent fee. But this is what I'm telling you, bro. This that Canadian education. This man is smart. Right before he knew he was about to sign that max contract extension, he got rid of his agent, because why would you give the 5%, 7% agent fee to some dude when you've already done all the work? Like, what does he need to do? Help you sign the 200? You already know you're going to get the max deal. Why do you need the agent for? You literally don't need the agent at all. So SGA saved himself some money there. And if you think about it, let's do the math. $285 million. And let's be conservative. Let's say times 0.07. 19, bruh. So this guy firing his agent before he signed the contract, he saved himself $19 million. I'm gonna say that one more time. SGA firing his manager or his agent before he signed his max extension, which is a smart thing to do, saved himself $19 million, bruh. That is absolutely insane. And think about it too. This is just his first max extension. If he continues to play like this, obviously barring injury, anything like that, he's going to have another max extension to sign in 2030. That's going to be even bigger than this one. Anywho, let's get back into this. So we signed a 4-year, $285 million contract with the Thunder this season. And over 4 years, he's going to earn an average of $71 million per year. Oh my God. So this goes back to what I was telling y'all before, is that we're going to get to the point in the NBA eventually, whether it's in 2030 or 2040, whenever I think it will be not after this new CBA, but after the second or third collective bargaining agreement, we're going to get to a point, we're going to see in our lifetime, an NBA player make over $100 million per year before taxes, which is crazy. And we're already getting close because SGA is making $71 million per year. So let's break it down further. So he's making $5.94 million per month, $1.48 million per game, per week, $286K per game, $212,000 per day, bruh, $8K, almost $9K per hour, $142 per minute, $2.45 per second. Bruh, that's absolutely crazy. So yeah, he, like they say, is going to be essentially breathing money. And so this is what I was talking about before. So SGA, he signed this 4-year contract, this 4-year max extension with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but he actually could have opted out, waited 1 more year, and he could have signed another max deal. So he could have signed this deal here, right here, and it would have been a 5-year, $379 million contract, which would have gave him a little bit higher money, I think, average. But I think he decided to be smart, sign the 4-year contract instead, the 4-year, $285 million contract, which gives OKC a little bit more room to move with signing extra players, paying other players on the team salary as well too, because eventually Jalen Williams is going to have to come up and he's going to have to sign a max contract. And then obviously Chet Holmgren at a certain point is going to have to sign a max contract as well too. And you guys, I think OKC is okay with going into the luxury tax, but I don't think they want to go into that second apron. And that's the thing right now, that the second apron is killing off a lot of teams. You see what happened with the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics got a new owner, and they pretty much had to either trade or poach off all their players, essentially, because they're hitting that second apron, and they don't want to continue to bleed money. And the NBA, they put a lot of stipulations on you when you're in that second apron now. After they essentially introduced it because of Golden State, when Golden State got KD, and they essentially wanted to penalize teams for being able to just pay as much money into the luxury tax and just build super teams. So they created the second apron. And since the NBA put that second apron into effect, there's been a different team every single year that's won the NBA championship. So at least at this point, you consider the second apron has been working. The NBA is probably the most competitive it's ever been in its history. And, the last dynasty is and probably will be the Golden State Warriors. But OKC potentially could do this as well too if they were able to keep this team together. But yeah, so SGA, he decided to duck the 5-year, $379 million, and he took the $284 million contract as well. So this season, he averaged 31.6 assists, 5.1 rebounds. This is over the past 3 seasons as well too. He pretty much averages, SGA is pretty much a lock for 30 points every single game. So yeah, this is absolutely crazy. So SGA is getting paid, bro. Again, a breakdown as well to this contract. $85 million per year. That's $71 million per year, bro. So, almost $6 million per month, $1.8 million per week. This guy's literally shitting money, bro. This guy's actually shitting money, bro. And again, SGA, he wraps up an all-time historic season with OKC. Obviously, they finished the right way. They finished with the NBA championship. He won the scoring title this year. He won the NBA MVP. He won NBA Finals MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP. So SGA is topping off a year, going the first ever quadruple, getting all the scoring title, NBA Finals MVP, as well as Western Conference Finals MVP, signing a new $285 million contract, becoming the highest paid NBA player on a per annum basis with $71 million per year. And to top that off, SGA is not even done, man. SGA is not even done. It got announced yesterday by Shams Charania that SGA is the NBA 2K26 cover athlete. So it wasn't enough just to be able to win every single important NBA title there is. He also had to top it off with becoming the NBA cover athlete. So SGA is the cover of the NBA 2K26 following its MVP and title winning season. The video game developer announced on Tuesday. So last season, the scoring chance and finals MVP will be featured on the game standard edition. This season, he averaged 32.7 points, 6.4 assists, and 5 rebounds per game, leading the Thunder to a best in the NBA 68-14 record. And the Thunder outscored teams by 12.9 points per game, which is the biggest margin in the league history. They beat the Indiana Pacers, obviously, in 7 games. And OKC also had statistically one of the best, if not the best, defensive regular season of all time in the NBA. So this is going to be back-to-back. So what? Last year, I believe it was Jason Tatum who covered the game, right? Yeah, Jason Tatum covered the last year after they won the championship. So it looks like right now, 2K, bro, essentially they're doing whoever wins the championship just becomes the title. Whoever wins the championship is going to be on the cover, essentially what it is. So last year they had Jason Tatum after they won the championship. Obviously, Jason Tatum didn't win NBA Finals MVP, but Jason Tatum is marketable enough, so they put him on the cover. I don't think they wanted Jaylen Brown on that. And then they actually revealed the cover. So this is the NBA 2K26 cover, and bruh, I gotta say, bro, this cover is weak as hell, man. This cover. Let me take a sip. This cover right here might be one of the weakest 2K covers I've ever seen in my life, bro. What this guy said? This guy, dude, SGA season wasn't even close to Luka 2023-2024 season. SGA gets more calls than anyone in history. Stop lying, glazing. Bro, what are you talking about, Lamar Drain? Bro, did Luka win the championship, the NBA scoring title, NBA Finals MVP, NBA MVP, and Western Conference Finals MVP all in one season while wrapping up an NBA? Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, I understand that some of you dudes like who you like, but you got to take a look at it, like objectively look at statistics and what's going on, bro. Luka, even though Luka is a phenomenal player, bro, when he brought his team, the Dallas Mavericks, to the finals, what did they do? They got blown out in 5 games by the Boston Celtics. So, like, what are we talking about? And I rock with Luka, bro. I'm not even trying to hate, but Luka has not done anything close to what SGA has done in this season. So, sorry, bro. Disagree. Absolutely disagree. But yeah, this is it right here. I believe that the NBA 2K, this NBA 2K cover right here, man, this is weak as hell, bro. This NBA 2K cover right here. This might be the weakest cover I've seen in a long time. It literally just looks like they just took an image off Getty Images and copy and pasted it and put it on the cover, bro. Like, and this is the issue that I have with 2K, and this is why I haven't bought one of the 2K games in a minute, bro. They do not put any effort into their games, bro. And this cover shows that, bro. Like, you literally didn't put any effort into the game at all. Like, and if the effort they put into the cover art is indicative of the actual game, you can tell that they didn't do shit, bro. They didn't do an actual thing. So this right here, bro, I probably will not be buying this game, but shout out to the SGA for covering this as well too. Then this is just another wrap up to an amazing season for them. This guy right here, this is lame or drain, bro. You were absolutely wilding, bro. You were absolutely wilding, bro. Don't be comparing a dude who had the first quadruple in NBA history, had one of the best record in the NBA, and then topped it off with the NBA championship to Luka Doncic, bro. Like, what are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? Let's use some common sense right now. But yeah, that's everything that we have for today, man. We're going to check out, let's see if there's anything going on Twitter. Oh yeah, we had a trade right here. Shams Charania. What's it right here? The Washington Wizards are trading Kelly Olynyk to the San Antonio Spurs for Malaki Brannan, Blake Wesley, and a 2026 second-round pick. Bro, I don't know who these guys are. I know Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk is Canadian. So I guess that's a solid trade. I guess the Spurs are trying to make a couple moves or whatever like that. The Spurs have a pretty solid roster, so it looks like they're just trying to get some backup players to be able to round it out. Let's see what here. We got DeAndre Ayton on his new teammate, Luka Doncic. Speaking of Luka Doncic, here you go, Lame or Drain. You can glaze this since you love Luka so much. Hearing about the kind of shape he's been in, he's super ripped, and I'm finally glad to be on his side. I ain't gonna lie, bro. We might have to pause that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's kind of crazy. Hearing about the kind of shape he's in, he's super ripped, and I'm finally glad to be on his side. That sounds kind of crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all might have to pause that. Hey, yo. That at least gets a hey, yo. That's kind of crazy. That's a little bit crazy to be saying about another man. And then what we got here? We got some Angel Reese stuff. Angel Reese slaps the clipboard out of your coach's hand. Bruh. Here we go again with this Angel Reese stuff, bro. Y'all love to hate on women, bro. This shit is absolutely crazy, bro. Being under Microsoft, anything this girl does, bro. I bet if Tom Brady or some other person did this shit, it's, oh, this guy is mad passionate. This guy cares so much about that game. Look at him. You know how many times Tom Brady and all these other players have fucking yelled at their coaches and shit like that, or slapped the board or whatever the fuck. But as soon as someone in the WNBA does it, it's a problem, bro. Y'all are, get the fuck out of here with this weak ass shit, man. Anyways, so that's it, man. We got the LeBron news from earlier today. We have news of Chris Paul retiring, announcing his retirement from the NBA. This will be his final season, the 2024-2025 NBA season. Paolo Banchero signed his 5-year, $270 million contract as well. And then we have Chris Paul announcing his retirement. And then, of course, we have SGA finishing his season, his spectacular season, with another accolade, becoming the NBA 2K26 cover athlete for the Standard Edition. So that's everything we got for today, man. We will be back on most likely on Saturday, and we'll be covering everything. But yeah, man, let's keep it basketball, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me and for watching, man. And we'll be back soon, man. Anyways, I'm out.